Right then, so this is some news that I do want to bloody talk about, otherwise I'm not going to bloody get onto it. But Oleksandr Usyk has called out Jake Paul to fight in MMA. Look, I'm gonna have to talk about this. I might talk about every situation about, a boxer calling out Jake Paul or a boxer calling out an MMA fighter to a fight. And look, I always go in on Tyson Fury for doing it. And it's unfair if Usyk doesn't get criticism for doing this as well. If I'm being completely honest here, like he's got to. If Usyk actually fights Jake Paul, then this is probably worse than, it's worse than Mayweather fighting McGregor. It's worse than Fury fighting Ngannou. This is really bad if this actually happens. And in MMA as well, what's even the point? What does Usyk gain out of this? What's even the point? I mean, if it does happen, it's got to be when Usyk actually retires and decides to hang it up for good. But what is even the point in this? I mean, Usyk's already, also spoke about wanting to fight Poatan as well. Like, what's the point in that fight? And look, I love Usyk, but he's got to get the criticism if he does take either of those fights, in my opinion. Like, Jake Paul and Usyk in MMA, what's the point? What's the point? I mean, Usyk does train MMA. Usyk does train MMA. Apparently, he does train kickboxing a bit. Apparently, he has said he does do a bit of MMA because it is good to get everything in and it can help out with boxing a bit as well, he has said in the past in interviews. So Usyk would beat Jake Paul in MMA without a shadow of a doubt, he would. And even if they went into it, even if Usyk didn't have any experience in MMA, he would beat him anyway. Look, Jake Paul wouldn't be able to take Usyk's power with the gloves, if we're being real. Like, he wouldn't be able to take his power whatsoever. So yeah, but it's pointless. It is literally pointless. I mean, people are like, oh, there's big money involved. But who really cares? Who really cares? I mean, there's going to be loads of people who want to watch, who want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. I get that 100%. But on Usyk's side of things, he gains absolutely nothing out of doing this. I mean, I don't think Turki Al-Sheikh's going to like it whatsoever. I mean, he doesn't want to entertain Jake Paul at all. Turki Al-Sheikh's not going to like it. I don't think many fans are going to like it either, if I'm being completely honest. And, we need to be honest here. I mean, I don't know if Usyk's trying to troll Jake Paul or anything like that. That might be the case because, there was posts coming out about it. Then Usyk teased it on his Instagram saying, at Jake Paul with the eyes emoji, is this going to happen? But it can't, in my opinion. It honestly can't. But I mean, I've never seen Usyk do MMA, but I've heard that he does do it. And no matter what, he's going to be good enough to beat Jake Paul. I mean, even if they just went into the MMA cage and basically had a boxing fight, Usyk's going to win. Usyk's bigger than Jake Paul. He's going to be quicker than Jake Paul no matter what. Usyk's got great footwork anyway, so if Jake Paul tries to shoot a double leg, Usyk's probably going to be too flashy on his feet anyway to pin down like he always is in boxing. And against Jake Paul, it's not like we're talking about Usyk fighting an actual MMA fighter. Like, that's a different story there. That's why, you can mess around when talking about it a bit. But yeah, Jake Paul shooting a double leg on Oleksandr Usyk. What are we doing here? But either way, though, Usyk would absolutely flatten Jake Paul in seconds in MMA, in boxing, whatever. Usyk flattens Jake Paul in seconds. I don't get what anyone gains out of this. Jake Paul would be absolutely humiliated. Does he really want to do it? Like, does he? And Usyk, it's a lose-lose situation for Usyk, other than money-wise. But it's a lose-lose situation. Like, and also as well, wouldn't there be more money in boxing anyway? Like, I don't even get what the whole MMA aspect does. Usyk's profession is boxing. He's the undisputed heavyweight champ. And Jake Paul, he does boxing. Like, he doesn't do MMA. He's not an MMA fighter. So why are both guys going to MMA to do this fight? Why can't they just, if anything, why aren't they just doing it in boxing? I mean, I'm not supporting this fight either way. I'm just trying to get my head around the whole MMA aspect of it. Like, I don't get that at all. Is it to try and get a wider audience of it? Because then, boxing fans will want to watch because of Usyk. People are going to want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Then MMA fans might watch for MMA. But I mean, MMA fans, I don't think will like it though, because for them, it's two MMA fight. It's two box. Well, Jake Paul's not a boxer. It's an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in boxing in Oleksandr Usyk, and then you've got Jake Paul, who's an influencer boxer. I almost called him a boxer there. I'm not happy with that at all. Not happy with that at all. Almost caught me cold calling Jake Paul a boxer. He's not. I think I just can't get my head around it. I really can't. And I just feel like the promotion's weird as well for this one, because there's gonna be, where's the build up? Like, I feel like if this is to happen in MMA, for a boxer to fight Jake Paul in MMA, it's got to be someone who Jake Paul's going to have actual beef with. With Oleksandr Usyk, you know, there's no actual beef there between these two, and Usyk's got bloody better things to do anyway. I just don't see, there's going to be no hype in the build-up for this. That is the thing as well. There's going to have to be a build-up, and you're just not going to get that with this fight either. I just feel like with Usyk and Jake Paul, they're just two completely different personalities, and it's just not really going to match in press conferences. And in boxing anyway, like, you know, it's not really going to matter when, you know, two boxers are going up against each other who don't really talk too much, because, you know, they're boxers, you know, like Beterbiev, Bivol, for example. Like, it didn't matter that they don't really trash talk each other, because, you know, they're the two best in the world. With Usyk and Jake Paul going at each other who don't even do MMA, what's the build up? Like, what's the point? What point is there, like, to be proved here and even doing this? It's just something I don't understand. It's just so random. It's just so out of the ordinary, if we're being completely honest. And to watch this in MMA, even though Usyk, you know, does a bit of MMA, it's still going to be an absolute shambles to watch anyway. I mean, I've seen Jake Paul throw a leg kick on the bloody on the pads on the bag. It's an absolute shambles. It's absolute shambles to see. Honestly, like. He absolutely has no chance, honestly. I mean, I want to see Usyk throw a few leg kicks, you know, hopefully bloody not snap the leg off of Jake Paul. If Jake Paul wants to go into MMA, fight Francis Ngannou. Just do that. You know, you're part of the PFL, and Ngannou's in the PFL. Just do that fight. I don't get why Usyk's getting involved in this. That's the thing. Why does Jake Paul want Usyk to get involved in it? Why does Usyk even, like, why is Usyk even, you know, entertaining the idea of this? I mean, I get he might be trolling Jake Paul, but why though? When he knows there's money involved anyway. I don't see why he wouldn't for the money, but I just find the whole situation pretty baffling, if I'm being real. I don't get it. Anyway, thanks for watching.